have Keith Singer back from Singer Wealth Advisors in Boca Raton. We were talking about GameStop, Reddit, and the crazy week that the stock market has had. Right before we lost our connection, Scott, we were talking about how experienced, sophisticated brokers kind of do this to each other. We were talking about the short squeeze, right?
Right. Again, a short squeeze occurs when there's a big short position. Someone's borrowed the stock, they've sold it, and they're hoping to buy it back later at a cheaper price. And if the price goes up against them, they start to lose money, and they have to call and sell at a higher price to stop the bleeding. Now, if you think about it, what are some of the targets? GameStop, it's a company that sells video games in the mall, not a high growth company. AMC, movie theaters. Who goes to the movies? At least no one right now, right? And then you have the third company, BlackBerry. Who's using a BlackBerry anymore, right? They're using Apple now. So you're looking at these companies as companies that can potentially go out of business. So what these sophisticated investors are trying to do is sell the stock now and then buy it back once they go out of business, where you don't even have to buy back the stock, or you buy it back for next to nothing, and you get to keep all your sales proceeds and pay nothing back.
So, a lot of people, and we're getting some comments here, and a lot of people this week have said, you know what, this is just the little guy getting a place at the table and beating the big guys at their own game.
That's exactly what happened. The Reddit users, it's more than an investment to them. It's, they're trying to stick it to the man, if you will, who's always had the advantage over them. And now they're turning the tables, and, they're jubilant, right? To be able to get back at the institutions that always got over on them. And, they're banding together. They're saying things like never sell, never sell. It's not about the money. So it's really interesting, that aspect of it.
Yeah, there's a comment here from Nettie talking about we're being suppressed from being able to buy a stock because it's manipulated. Sad world we live in. I mean, what Robinhood is doing, what do you think about that, about the way they kind of shut down the trading on that from everybody?
It's interesting. It is manipulation, but there's no law against anyone, talking about what they're doing, as long as they're not an insider of a company with inside knowledge, right? You're not allowed to use inside information to benefit and, cheat the public and buy based on that knowledge. But every individual, they don't have inside knowledge here. Everything they do is based on public knowledge. They're just sharing their ideas and sort of banding together. It's not illegal, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point it becomes illegal, because it's not healthy for stock markets like this.
Isn't this, though, inherent in the risks that a lot of these hedge funds go? I mean, to most of us, essentially placing a bet that a company is going to tank or go down kind of seems a little disingenuous to begin with.
It is, and that's why people look at them, unhappily what they're doing. It's inherent that the company could turn around and the stock could do well, but I'm sure these funds and these hedge funds that are shorting the stock never envisioned that the public would band together against them and cause a major short squeeze and really stick it to them.
Someone's asking, should Robinhood and other brokers be allowed to restrict purchases of stock like GameStop? That's what I think I just kind of,
I think that, I think what they're probably trying to do is protect investors, because ultimately these investors could lose a lot of money when stock prices come back to normal. I don't know if they're getting any regulatory pressure. Obviously, Robinhood can't operate if the SEC shuts them down, right? So if the SEC suggests that they do this or do that, they probably are going to listen, because otherwise there won't be a Robinhood.
Mark writes, it's a market manipulation if brokers don't allow the free market to buy shares of a company. Is this going to happen again, Keith? Are we doomed to see this happen again?
It will definitely happen again. If I was a short seller and if you look at all the stocks that have large short positions, they're all getting attacked. I mean, not as dramatically as GameStop, but if you look at the stocks that have big short positions, they've all done extremely well this month. And so if I was a short seller, I would not want to be a short seller right now.
I was going to say, does this kind of change the whole area of short selling? Do these hedge funds take a second look at what they're doing and proceed?
We'll see how this turns out, because I'm pretty confident there are hedge funds right now that are licking their chops trying to short right now at these prices, fairly confident that eventually they're going to make a lot of money, as long as they have the wherewithal to withstand the stock potentially going higher in the short term.
Lisa writes, average Joe outsmarting big hedge funds, and now they're going to make sure and get revenge. Do you think that's going to happen, though? That they're going to take revenge on the little guy like this?
I don't think there's going to be revenge. I think people are going to lose money and people are going to make money, and we'll see how it plays out. But I do think there will be regulations that potentially limit this kind of situation from happening in the future.
So, there's also a lot of people out there who may be looking to make a fast buck off of this too. What advice do you give them? I spoke to a woman down in Boca, down in your area in Palm Beach County, who yesterday got onto her IRA account and made two trades and with GameStop and walked away $1,200 in the black and then just stopped. I mean, is there
if you are going to trade this kind of stock, it's very dangerous. And if you make some money, I would suggest taking the profits and not waiting to be the last one holding the bag.
Because a lot of
people risk capital that if you wind up losing, it's not going to change your life.
A lot of people are looking for the next GameStop today, right? Or at least they'll spend the weekend looking for it on Monday.
I mean, you can go on to the Bet on Wall Street. I mean, the Wall Street bets on Reddit, and you can see what they're talking about. You can see the stocks. Clearly, right now, the target is stocks with big short positions, and that's easy to look up. If you Google stocks with big short positions, it'll pop right up. But those stocks have already gone up a lot.
What does this do to Wall Street in general? Does it create a chill in Wall Street? I mean, we saw it down yesterday a little bit, but it bounced back today. I mean, what does it do to the overall health of Wall Street?
I think it creates some distrust. I think this will only exacerbate the feeling that the institutions have the advantage over the little guy, and ultimately the powers that be will make sure that stays the way it is. I think that's probably going to be the perception, especially when trading gets halted or they make rules that disallow people from doing this again.
It's kind of confirmation that the stock market and the economy are really not linked. Like the stock market really exists in its own atmosphere.
It exists based on, at that minute, what people are willing to pay and what people are willing to sell for and what they're willing to buy for. And that's what the price is. Now, ultimately, the valuations will be based on earnings, ultimately, but it may not be for a while. There's stocks that get overvalued and then triple, right, before they crash. And the thing about this situation is, although we know eventually the stock will reflect the earnings of the company, we don't know when that's going to happen. The stock could even double again at this point before that happens. We don't know.
I was going to ask you if you had a crystal ball over there as to where GameStop goes, if it keeps going up or starts to sink. And if it does start to sink, do other hedge funds go in and start betting on it tanking again?
It's a great question. It has gone down and up. It traded between, I think yesterday is early pre-trading over 500 and then as low in the mid 100s. That's a pretty big swing. And now as of mid-afternoon Friday, it's back over 350 the last I checked. So you could see a lot more of these swings. Today is options expirations, which means there's a lot of people who have the right to purchase the stock at a much lower price. And if they exercise those options, that will put pressure on the stock to go up even more. But then either they're going to hold them or they're going to sell. A lot of people who have options don't have the money to actually exercise them. So they would have to just sell the options. And right now, I think those options are selling for a discount because there's a lot of people in that situation that don't have the financial capital to exercise their options. And so they're having to sell them at a discount from what they're really worth.
Right. We've seen our first lawsuit against Robinhood, a class action suit. I imagine the lawyers aren't done. There'll be a lot more involved with that. But you do see some laws changing down the road. We'll kind of wrap up with that.
Right.
I mean, you do see some.
Yeah, I see some. I definitely think there's going to be laws changing. You're seeing a lot of things being manipulated on social media. Elon Musk tweets about Dogecoin or Dogcoin, whatever it's called, and all of a sudden it goes up 400% overnight, right? Now he's not an insider, but he also had a part in this whole thing with GameStop. He really doesn't like short sellers, and he was in on this, and he promoted this. And it'll be interesting to see someone who has such a following from a tweet can affect the price. And it'll be interesting to see if he actually profited from that before he made the tweets.
Does Robinhood get in trouble? You think Robinhood gets in trouble with this?
I don't know what they've done wrong. I don't know what the lawsuit's about. If they didn't let people trade and people can say, I would have sold or bought, I tried to execute an order and I lost money, you know, they could potentially have that kind of lawsuit. I don't know.
Right. All right.
The agreement that you sign when you sign up.
All right. So the bottom line is you really got to be careful with what, and if people are thinking about trying to make a quick buck in here, you really got to tread light. It's a minefield right now, the way things are going.
I would venture to guess that the opportunity to make a quick buck has probably already happened. But I don't know for sure. But if you do want to gamble, use money that you can afford to lose, because this is gambling. This is being at a craps table. Okay. And either you get lucky that it gets pumped up some more if you're buying, or if you're trying to short or buy puts, it goes down if that's what you're betting on. So it's all a crapshoot at this. We don't know when it's going to go down or up and how much.
All right. Keith Singer from Singer Wealth Advisors in Boca Raton. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks, Matt. Great seeing you.
It was enlightening for a lot of the people watching and offering comments and questions as well. A lot more to come. We'll see where GameStop and other stocks go the rest of this afternoon, and especially Monday when the market opens again. But
yeah, I'm going to write about it on Sunday in the Palm Beach Post. So if anyone wants to check that out in the business section.
All right, that's right. You've got an article coming up on this very subject Sunday in the Palm Beach Post. I'm glad you kind of mentioned that so people can look for that as well.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Keith. Thanks everyone for watching.